what happens to America's economy when you suddenly remove millions of workers, consumers, and taxpayers from communities across the country, as Donald Trump is promising to do through mass deportations? While politicians debate immigration policy, we're not talking enough about how mass deportations could trigger an economic crisis affecting every American. In this video, I'll reveal 5 ways that Trump's deportation plan would devastate the US economy, from the collapse of the construction industry to long-term structural damage that could take generations to repair, and more. And we're starting right now. I'm Brian Manning, and I used to be an asylum officer with the government, but now, as an asylum lawyer, well, I help immigrants all over the country to secure their future in America through asylum. Let me know in the comments if you've got an asylum case pending, or maybe you're considering applying. And listen, I'd especially like to hear from you if you've been waiting for an asylum interview with USCIS for multiple years. Let me know in the comments how long you've been waiting. With mass deportations looming, we're facing unprecedented economic disruption. While governors of California and Arizona have pledged non-cooperation, Republican-led states are already offering land for detention facilities. The scale of what's coming is staggering. An estimated 11.3 million undocumented residents could be directly affected. And while Donald Trump may be able to find some fringe economists who will say that plans for a tariff war are a good idea, I've not seen a single economist suggest that mass deportations would do anything other than gravely harm the US economy. Here are 5 ways these deportations would devastate our economy. Number 1, the construction industry collapse. It would devastate our industry. We wouldn't finish our highways, we wouldn't finish our schools. Stan Merrick, CEO of Merrick Construction, one of the country's largest construction companies, recently told OPB.org. Housing would disappear, he added, estimating that builders would lose half of their workforce. And the numbers back him up. Over 500,000 immigrants work in Texas construction alone, with nearly 60% being undocumented, according to estimates. Now, what makes this particularly concerning? Well, Texas cities regularly appear on lists of America's fastest growing communities. Construction cranes dot urban skylines across the state. And you see, Texas's reliance on undocumented labor is one of the state's open secrets, despite tough political rhetoric on immigration. The state's politicians decry undocumented migrants, vilifying them to score political points and militarizing the border. But they won't crack down on the businesses that employ these folks. Why? Well, because they know it would devastate the local economy. You see, they don't really want to solve the problem of undocumented workers coming to and living in Texas, or else they would use what would by far be the most effective method of cracking down: penalizing the employers. Well, these politicians who want to have it both ways are going to feel the pain of deep economic losses in their state if Trump has his way and the state's workforce is decimated by deportations. By the way, if you want to maximize your chances for asylum success, then be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so you don't miss the insights that I share on this channel. Okay, number 2, the workforce crisis. Economist Ray Perryman told OPB that there are more undocumented people working in Texas right now than there are unemployed people in Texas. Can you believe that? Pretty staggering, isn't it? So even if every unemployed Texan took one of the jobs that came available due to its holder being deported, the state would still face a massive labor shortage. But of course, that's not realistic at all, is it? Unemployed native-born Americans are not exactly jumping at the chance to swing a hammer on a roof in the 112-degree Austin summer heat. But listen, it gets worse. Our birth rates are at historic lows. Our population growth is at historic lows, Perryman explained. We just simply are not making enough people to sustain our economy. This demographic reality makes the planned deportations particularly dangerous for economic stability. But all the same, the Trump administration is already taking concrete steps to make good on the president-elect's campaign promises to purge the nation of undocumented persons. ABC News reports that Texas Land Commissioner Dawn Buckingham has offered 1,400 acres near the border for what she calls deportation facilities, describing it as flat, easy to build on land where they can very easily put a detention center. Now, Now, still, not every state is demonstrating such zeal to accommodate a plan that will crush the economy. For example, Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs told ABC that her state, quote, will not be participating in misguided efforts that harm our communities, end quote. All right, number 3 on our list of ways that mass deportations will harm the economy: regional economic disruption. When millions of workers suddenly disappear from local economies, the impact ripples far beyond their lost labor. You see, these workers are also consumers. They rent apartments, buy groceries, purchase clothes, and support countless local businesses. Their sudden removal would cause immediate shocks to housing markets as rentals empty out, to retail businesses as customer bases shrink, and to local governments as tax revenues decline. This disruption would be particularly severe in regions with high immigrant populations, which include some of the fastest growing states like Texas and Florida. It will create economic dead zones in previously thriving communities. The impact would vary dramatically by region. While some areas might lose 5% of their workforce and consumer base, others could lose 20% or more, creating demographic pockets of economic depression that could take years to recover. Okay, number 4, cross-industry impact. While construction often dominates the conversation about immigrant labor, mass deportations would simultaneously cripple multiple sectors of the American economy. Agriculture would face immediate crisis as farms and processing facilities lose critical workers, potentially leading to crop failures and food price spikes. The service industry, from restaurants to hotels to cleaning services, would face severe staffing shortages, forcing business closures and driving up costs for consumers. Manufacturing would see production slowdowns as assembly lines and factories struggle to maintain operations with depleted workforces. Small businesses would be hit particularly hard, as they often lack the resources to quickly recruit and train replacement workers, leading to a cascade of closures that would affect entire supply chains. And finally, number 5, long-term structural damage. Mass deportations would fundamentally alter America's economic structure in ways that could take generations to repair. With birth rates at historic lows and an aging population, removing millions of working-age immigrants would accelerate demographic problems that already threaten economic growth. Industries would be forced to restructure, likely moving operations overseas rather than trying to find non-existent domestic workers, permanently eliminating those jobs from the US economy. The loss of migrant entrepreneurs and innovators would reduce economic dynamism and new business creation, while the exodus of younger workers would further strain Social Security and Medicare systems already under pressure from America's aging population. Perhaps most significantly, America would likely lose its competitive advantage as the world's top destination for global talent, permanently diminishing our capacity for innovation and growth. Listen, the economic implications of mass deportations are clear and far-reaching, threatening to unravel decades of economic growth and stability across every sector of American society. While politicians may score short-term political points by vilifying immigrants, the long-term cost to America's economy and to all Americans' prosperity would be devastating. And this is, of course, just the economics of it all. We're talking about lives that will be uprooted, families torn apart, and dreams shattered. Let's hope sanity prevails and Trump's campaign bluster proves just tough talk. If you're ready to take the next step and get help with your asylum case, then call my office today. That number is 713-909-0401. And remember, we help immigrants all over the country, so it doesn't matter where you live. Call us now to schedule an asylum strategy session so that we can help you to secure your future in America through asylum. Again, I'm Brian Manning, and it's truly an honor to serve you in your asylum journey.